Bills fans, I'm live. I didn't forget about y'all. I didn't forget about the room. I was just so emotionally taxed after that game because I knew that game was not going to be easy. I knew this game was not going to be easy. I knew the Patriots were going to, basically empty the gun. They were not going to leave the OK Corral with any bullets left in the chamber. They were going to do out anything and everything that they could. What's up, bro? How you doing? Was saying the Patriots are just going to do anything and everything to save their season. Essentially, you go to 2-5, you're pretty much toast. Coming off that loss, especially at home, um, you know, it was gonna be hard no matter what. I didn't have any doubt. The Patriots get waxed at home. They're playing for their season. Everybody thinks it's gonna be a cakewalk. I'm like, I don't care who the Patriots are missing. They're gonna try to find a way, or they're gonna find a way to make this game a game. Did it have to be that close? No, but I really felt that it was gonna be. I was just hoping that the interception before the half wasn't going to kill the Bills at the end. I was thinking that. I said that interception before the half that gave the Pats that cheap 3 was going to, what's up, Trevor, was going to just kill them. And I was glad that it didn't. Everything that the Bills did, basically, they never lost the lead. They answered the bell offensively every time they needed to. They made a drive. They had a drive. They put a drive together. I cannot fault them for that at all. The running game got really, really on traction this week with Feliciano coming back. Even though that the Bills lost Mitch Morris, Bates came in, but he's the backup center. You don't want to lose him. So they switched out. They put Bucker in at the left guard and moves Feliciano over to center, and the running game just went very, very well. And this is what we've been wanting to see: motor Moss, back and forth, little power element, little shifty element. And Zach Moss really got his legs under him last week, and we saw that even better this week with the addition of Feliciano. And they did get Lee Smith back, but he wasn't in the game too much. They ran out of 10 personnel a lot, and 11. The 3 wide receivers, the 4, they ran out of that a lot, and they made a lot of hay out of that. That they really, really did well. I was hoping that they can get to 200. I thought they had gotten to 200, but they were at like 190. They really beat the Patriots the way the Patriots beat the Bills in games like this. They run the football. They play smart. There wasn't a lot of devastating penalties, and that loss for the Patriots at the end was very, very Bills-like. It was a very Billsy loss for the Pats to be driving down to either tie or win and to fumble it. Yeah, Trevor, I don't know what happened. There was a mix-up on that route. It was really, really tough, very annoying. The passing game seemed – and there was a couple of times I wanted them to keep running the ball. There was that one drive where they ended it. Did you see that? It was one drive. It was, I forget, it was in the second quarter. Weird pass to end the drive to Brown. Brown ran this route. I think Jason McCourty PBU'd the ball. And I was like, run the ball. Just keep it going. Run the ball. And again, like Damager said, they're going to coach desperate. They're going to play desperate. We saw the play of the game. Well, Zimmer forcing the fumble on Newton's arguably the play of the game. But Matakevich recovering that onside kick for the Pats to have tie the game and then double dip would have been a disaster. A disaster. It would have been just devastating. But for him to have his head on straight, and then, oh my God, did you see the interception Wentz just threw? Oh, ugly. It would have been catastrophic, and Matakevich to not take his eyes off the ball, not to be so quick back to get back to get his block. Nope. He stood his ground. He recovered that. It was huge. Losing the game was on. I just knew the Pats were going to do everything and anything that they could to try to win. and that after taking an ass whooping like that at home, they were going to come out and do whatever they could. Bucker did play well. That Gabe Davis dropping the touchdown, I thought was going to be the dagger. I'm like, if they don't score it, that was on third down too. Milano played again, a lot of spot duty. There was a lot of downhill runs the Pats were running, so they didn't put him in that much. They put him in third down, third and long situations, but it was tough out there. And again, Pats had their whole offensive line intact for the first time in a while. With Andrews coming back this week, Newton ran the ball a lot more than he had in the last couple of weeks. So again, it was a pain in the ass game. It was a real pain in the ass game, and I just knew it was going to be what it turned out to be. But I'm just glad the outcome wasn't what it always ended up being in the past. That's Joe just put it in the room. I was getting physically ill on the last drive before Zimmer saved the play. That's why it's taken me so long to come on here. I was so emotionally spent after the game. I couldn't, man, I was a mess. I enjoyed the win, but I was really like, please, you cannot lose this game. You just cannot lose this game. But looking back, the offense played well in the sense that they got the drives that they needed to when they needed to get them, the drives to put them ahead, the drives to, keep the game where it was, to take the lead and to eventually win. Tyler Bass had a solid game in the wins. He kicked off well. He hit all his PATs. He hit the game-winning field goal. And I thought that after last week, he was going to eventually this week he was just going to be like, you know what, all those rookie jitters after having that crazy game here at MetLife, he just went out there and kicked his field goals very, very well. Let me see us. Belichick calling timeouts at the end. Oh, yeah. That's Belichick. He's gonna do what he can. I'm just hoping that is done. That they're just another team. They're just another team, and that's what I felt like today at the end of the game. I thought, you know what, the Patriots are now just another team. They're just another team. They're a division opponent. The games are very, very important. They almost count as two games. But in the sense that Brady was the ultimate, not the equalizer, he was the remedy for everything. Defense was having a bad day. He was going to score enough points to keep them in the game and eventually win. Offense, it would just, he knew all that. And Allen did a little bit of that today too. He checked out of two plays today that ended up being big. He got the Bills out of a bad look on defense, handed the ball off to Singletary. It was like a 16, 18-yard run. They ended up scoring on. And then there was the quick hitter to Brown on the last drive of the game. He got them out of that bad look. They were playing zero. They were backed up, and 21-yard play right there. So that was huge. I'm going to read some comments now. Zimmer's just playing hard. He's just playing hard, and just, that he has to. That's the kind of the one guy Oliver's always going to get, he's still coming off the knee. I think the knee was a lot worse than the team let on. Haven't had a brace on it. His third week without it. The Patriots just ran downhill. They don't run a lot of gimmicky stuff. They just run power, and it's tough, especially the way that the lack of defending the run, but they made a play when they had to, and that's all that counts. They made a play when they had to. The last time the Bills were 4-0 in the division was 1991. If I was McDermott, I would have ran right to the locker room without shaking. McDermott's not going to do that. He's going to be gracious. They got to play them again in New England, so he's going to want to keep it. Nick Wright will be crying this week. I swear to God, he hates. I don't listen to that crap. Well, I can't. I don't even watch ESPN, to tell you the truth. So I can't tell you who's on, who's not on there anymore, because it's just, to me, it's not substantive. Second game against, that's, again, depending on where they're at in the standings, Tua did not have a great day. He was not a guy, he didn't go out there and light it up. I believe the Rams had like 4 turnovers. Two of them ended up being defensive scores. This week is huge, though. It's another home game. The Bills don't have to go on the road. They have Seattle coming in. It's a non-conference opponent, but the trade deadline day after tomorrow. Will the Bills add? And they've made a lot of interesting decisions as of late. AJ Epinesa was inactive this week after having a pretty decent couple of stretch of games. Yeah, Seattle's defense is not what everybody thought it was. Moss started the second half of last week, Eric, and he finished it off today. It was nice. Just you saw two guys going for 80. They could have went for 100, each of them. They were that close to popping off a few extra runs. I think each of them had like a negative, but it was really good to see the Bills just go out there and just play big boy football with them, because we're so used to the Bills just getting smacked around by the Patriots in a physical manner. But the Patriots, the Bills fought fire with fire today, and they won. The Dolphins are a solid football team. I see people talking about the Dolphins in here. The Bills did beat the Dolphins. I think Fitz was just a spark for them. He was their emotional leader after last year. Remember, they had Rosen in. They put Fitz back in, and that team became hard to beat. They became pesky. They won some games at the end of the year. Everybody thought that they had won their way out of the quarterback conversation, but they ended up getting Tua. But who knows? I just didn't see a lot from Tua today. He didn't throw for over 100 yards. He had the one touchdown to Devontae Parker after being, I think they were set up by a turnover. But I just didn't see much. And it's going to be different. They're going to come to Buffalo. What's a team like that want to do in the cold weather, in the elements late in the year? Maybe they're not playing for anything. Maybe they'll want to try to spoil the Bills. Who knows? We'll see. Who's saying everybody's hyping up Moss, but yeah, Motor, they're good, man. I like both of them. I like having that nice little duo, really, really nice. And I was glad to see the Bills were able to still run well after Morris left the game. That had me worried. Communication, bad snaps, that was worrisome, and they were able to handle it well. Allen looked good. He looked poised. He looked composed. He did have the one miscommunication with Diggs, but outside of that, he threw some big plays when he had a chance, and he should have had a touchdown there at the end. Joe brings up something I'll talk about. Bills signed both. Actually, I don't know if you guys saw this. They also signed Daryl Worley too, and Lee. They're supposed to be official tomorrow. I don't know if they're both practice squad. If one is practice squad and one is active roster. They also might bring back that tight end. Maybe they can get Dawson Knox back this week from not only the calf but the COVID list. Hopefully, that would be nice if he could get back. Klein's lack of speed, his lack of lateral quickness really hurt them today. There was the last drive before the I believe it was the play right before the Newton run, the fumble. He had Burkhead in the backfield, and he just whiffed. I don't see Daughtari Poe yet. Maybe the Bills make a trade. Maybe they swap out a piece. They were hinting at some things on the Bills roundtable this morning about moving a contract off the roster, swapping out a piece. I don't know what they were. Maybe it was Trent Murphy. Maybe it was I don't know what they were alluding to. Who knows? But we'll see, because these trades will happen. Starting could be tonight, tomorrow, and into Tuesday. And the reason Klein is out there, let's be honest, he's out there to play. I like Tim Settle. Joe brings up a name I like. I've brought him up a lot. I like him. We'll see. Maybe they could do business. Rivera, Bean, McDermott, but he's in there to take the beating, the pounding they don't want Matt Milano taking in the run game. That's why he's out there. He's not out there because he's a good player. He's out there because they don't want to have Milano. They want Milano to heal up as much as he can, still being able to play some when they need to. Dan Kaepernick's, I think we're gonna have to deal with McDermott game plan to win, but not necessarily game plan to beat the opponents. Hence why the games. It's just the NFL, man. It's if you look at most of the games, they're close. Sans a few. I mean, bounce of the ball here, there. Bills have dealt with some injuries, crazy situations with guys, teams getting the team getting its schedule flip-flopped all over the place. So I'm not going to give them a pass, but they are 6-2. The two teams that they've lost to are ahead of them in the conference, the only two. So they didn't lose to cupcakes. They lost to really, really good teams. I don't want to talk about Klein yet. He's just is what he is. He's out there to take the brunt. Lentz, our linebackers worry me. We need a big, fat, one-tech guy. Well, yeah, the names that have been floated out there, Dalvin Tomlinson, Tim Settle. People talk about bringing in Dontari Poe. He has a history with the Bills defensive line coach, Eric Washington. So, yep, his 91 record. I mean, the kid should have 3 touchdown passes in the last couple of, a penalty calls one back, a tight end falling over on his own feet cost him a touchdown, a wide receiver dropping one today cost him a touchdown. He ran one in. They score that touchdown there at the end. Maybe it's not so much of a nail biter. Patriots have to play a little bit more aggressive. They ran the ball a fair amount on that last drive, a lot more than, they were just playing for the last possession, either to tie or win. But you saw how they slow rolled it. They punted that one time inside their Bills territory. They backed the Bills up. The Bills had a quick 3-and-out, and then they got the ball again on the Bills side of the field, and they were able to get. I think they got a cheap 3 out of that. So yeah, it's sometimes you think a team's punting, they're banking on their defense to either feast on a mistake, get a 3-and-out, and then you're punting into the wins. And Bojorquez had a not that great of a day. The Pats did have a few punt blocks on. We saw them call in extra protection, so I was nervous. I was hoping please no, but the Bills special teams ended up being big for them today. Yeah, the Davis drop was scary. Trabsdale, Addison, and Hughes have been playing well. Hughes is turning it on. 3 sacks in the last 2 games. He's playing with a bit of an edge. The Patriots were scared of Allen throwing. They were moving a lot of guys around. They had a lot of they were doing a lot of stuff. They were doing a lot of action up in the front 7, front 8. They brought guys down. They didn't have a lot of there was one where Allen went deep early on. He just chucked it. It was on a 2nd down. And I thought he had Davis, but the ball, so it didn't seem like the quarterbacks had a lot of problems throwing in the wind. But I did like the establishment of the run, sticking with the run, and just learning how to win an ugly game against a team that's desperate, division team that's been successful, that is well coached, that is going to come in and try to do anything and everything they're not tanking. They're not they're not a cupcake. No matter what their record is, the Pats are always going to be loaded for bear. What kind of defense they run? A 4-3, a lot of 5 DBs. Just basically rush up the ends, rushing up the field. Want to keep the linebackers clean up there. They have Pua Ford, Jaron Reed. They still have Bobby Wagner. He's they have a right. That's pretty much the last guys that are left from that whole Legion of Boom defense. If the run games continues 5 to 4 yards, the pass game will get back. I think so. I was thinking the same thing Hussein just put in the room. The Bills start running the ball successfully, you're going to start seeing the passes over the top come again. You're going to start to see, the passing game opened up because teams are going to have to respect that. Yeah, the Pats had a lot of 7 DBs on the field today. Bills ran at it and made them pay. So that was nice to see. I think they had the extra guy out there for Allen to see if he would run, not run, and Bills they just pushed him around up front. Joe Smith, Pats have pride. We knew it was going to be a dogfight. That, yeah, negative Bills fans will always be traumatized. The win will never be sexy enough until it's a blowout game against the Patriots. I guess people when we all get to see, a 40 something to 10 or 7, one of those types of curb stomp beatdowns, then Bills fans will be satisfied. But I'm not worried about style points right now, because that game just in the win column alone was so huge. It was so huge. And, I can't imagine how miserable all of you would be right now. I would be if they would have lost that game at the end. It would have been just gutting. Yeah, I mean, who didn't think that they were going to, the Bills were going to find a way to lose that game at the end? I mean, man, it was just disgusting. It was disgusting. And say Belichick was out coach. I think that McDermott had the answers today. So I think it was a tit for tat kind of game. McDermott had the answers. They really knew what they were going to try to scheme up on special teams. Newton's a former MVP. He hasn't been playing well, but he's, he threw some dubious balls today. He had one that I felt should have been intercepted, but it wasn't. It just fell to the ground. But it was, I was really, really annoyed that they couldn't get to him in some way, but they did force the turnover. Yeah. They again, they're coached. They're gonna do what they can. They still have a good team. They didn't have one of their starting wide receivers. They didn't have a couple of rookie tight ends. Teams play hurt all the time. So, I mean, again, they've beaten some I can't begin to tell you the Bills teams that the Pats have just dogged out over. And I've seen the Bills teams like of 2010. I remember the Bills lost a game. Was it 11 or 10? It was like 17-10. They lost in Ralph Wilson. Ugly game. Bills had a chance to get a stop at the end, and Walker got a first down to seal the game. Just an ugly game. You had Lossman running out of the back of the end zone for the opener in 2007. No, I think it was 2006 or 7. No, 6. Just they found ways to win against, Bills would go in there with skeleton crews half the time. I'm not gonna give the Pats like, oh, poor Pats, they didn't have this, they didn't have, fuck them. Let them be a regular team now. Let them see what it's like. Oh, you got injuries? Too bad. Oh, no more Brady? Too bad. Deal with it. Sorry, not sorry. Can't just I'm not gonna do it. And to be honest, the psyche of the team, they needed it. They need to see, the organization needs to see, Bills fans need to see, me included. This is another team now. It's another team that is beatable. They don't have the greatest quarterback of all time anymore under center. They have to go try to find whoever their new quarterback is going to be. It's not going to be Cam Newton, probably past this year. Remember all the Jarrett Stidham lovers? Not Jarrett Stidham. Yeah, welcome to QB purgatory. Let's see how it feels. The McKelvin fumble in 2009. You could just think of, and I'm not going to apologize for this, McBrizzle, that last pass drive, I was so positive that it was going to be their winning drive, and then the fumble, I went from miserable to, yeah, that's, again, everybody in this room went through the same gamut of emotions as I did. I just couldn't. I was on the verge of throwing up. I just sat here and just rubbed my head and enjoyed it. I screamed and yelled on Instagram for 2 seconds, and then I was just like, I just had to breathe a sigh of relief. Cam, he just doesn't, I think his body's taking a beating. He was never the most accurate passer. He looks more scattershot now. He did throw some nice balls out there. They seem to be running a lot of, like, Bills were so geared up to stop the run. A lot of stuff broke open over the middle. He hit Myers. It seemed like Myers had more. He had 6 catches for 59 yards. You would have thought he had more, but he didn't. The one play to Bird, I think the couple to the backs that he hit were big. The one to White, the two to White that he hit were big. Those were real bad. We finally caught a break for once. Mallory puts in the room. That's true. Well, the Bills made their own breaks. Justin Zimmer, he finally got that forced fumble. Thought he had it against Clyde Edwards-Helaire against the Chiefs, but he comes back and he actually, no doubter, comes from the backside and just bats it right out of his hand. And Dean Marlowe's there to, Johnny on the spot fumble recovery. And how many times have you seen the Bills force a fumble and not recover it? That would have been horrible if Cam would have just fell on it, or just his knee was just out. That's what I was worrying about. Is his knee just happened to be down, anything to mess that up, but thankfully it didn't. Well, the Bills were 3-3 just against Belichick. No Brady before this. That includes 2 losses in 2008. But so if you take that out, the Bills take that 2008 out. The Bills are 4-2. Now they're 4-3. So again, that's their problem. That's his team. Belichick puts that team together. That's the roster that they chose to go into the season with. And if they get injuries, that's their problem. I'm not going to apologize for them. Screw them. Again, like I alluded to, the Bills have went into Foxborough. They've had the Pats come into New Era, Ralph, whatever, and just garbage teams. Teams that had no interest in winning, just keeping the score close and just hoping that it wasn't that big of a blowout. I mean, God, who can forget that horrific, Kevin Everett game? I call it the Kevin Everett game because it was just like, they're supposed to be playing for Kevin Everett, this and that, and they go out there and get beat 56-10 on. It was disgusting, and it was just disgusting. Yeah, I can't imagine anybody being at that game, Matt. Yeah, Mo Lewis destroyed a lot of football. I mean, he killed Bills football back then. And you know what? They scored just enough to win. They should have had a touchdown at the end there with Davis. He's got to catch that ball. He'll catch that ball. He's been solid all year. He'll learn from that. So, I mean, yeah, they're right there. They're right there. They put the drives together that they had to put together to win. They didn't lose the lead. The Pats would tie it. The Bills came right back down, and they marched down the field. They ran the ball down their throat, and they won. I give them a lot of credit for that. They could have made a key mistake. They could have, a guy dropping a touchdown could have cost them, but it didn't. So I'm thankful for that. I mean, just a miscommunication on one play cost them 3 points. So it's something that they'll have to look at. But Allen connected with Diggs well today. He almost went over 100 yards. So it was nice to see those two get on the same, get clicking even more. The Pats gave it everything for sure. We're just the better team. And how long have the Pats just been the better team? The Bills would find a way to lose those games. It wasn't so much the Pats winning, the Bills finding a way to lose games. The Bills would be up by 11, give up a touchdown, a fumble, something stupid, a penalty, something stupid. So again, I'm not apologizing for this win. Eric says surprised they didn't keep the Spates at center after Morse left the game, especially with John. Well, the reason you move Feliciano in to center is you want to keep him in the game, and then you put Bates at Bates. You can't have, because Feliciano is normally your backup center. Bates was your backup center without Feliciano, so you can't risk losing your backup center, while he's in the game. I get the point, but I understood why they put Butker in, and I don't think they planned on playing Feliciano all game. I saw the interview on Bills.com. He came out of the game okay. He's probably a little sore, of course. I'm sure he is, but I think they planned on spotting him no matter what, either with Butker, but I think probably Butker. But when Morse went down, they had the one series. You're not going to switch him mid-series. They let that series finish out, and then the next series they switched him and kept him that way for the whole game. It was a concussion. He has a history of concussions. Hopefully he's okay. Hopefully he clears. I didn't see them take his helmet, but he went back to the locker room and he was given a concussion, and he wasn't. But the Bills have some decent depth on the offensive line. Maybe they get Cody Ford back this week. That would be a nice get back. Maybe they get Dawson Knox back this week. That would be a nice get back. I mean, the one time we did see John Brown really have to run on that quick hitter, he was able to. You saw he was able to get into that next gear. Didn't take a lot of big hits out there. Didn't get twisted down. So hopefully he'll be another week better. He practiced fully this week, so that's a good. They, for the most part, they came out of the game unscathed. I know Jones went down with a hamstring. Tavon Jones. Avery Williams just traded to the Steelers. Eric says interesting. So the Jets are pretty much we all know. How's Edmonds? I know Edmonds was he talked. So if he was an injury guy, he wouldn't have been at he talked after the game. So I think he maybe just dinged, came right back in. I think a play or two later. So hopefully they'll hopefully they'll get Milano back a lot more, because the Seahawks play a lot more wide open game. They play a lot more of a space game. They don't really pound it in the box the way that you knew the Jets were going to do, just because they don't have any offensive weaponry. The way the Pats just do, that's their running style. Even with Brady, it was always a power run game, downhill run game. Pin the edges. So we'll see. I was just really surprised. Like, I know this is weird to go back to. I was surprised that Vanessa wasn't active. I don't know what that's about, but I was surprised. Maybe it was a numbers thing. With Micah Hyde being out, they brought up the extra DBs. They got Wallace back this week. So we'll see. Hopefully Tua turns out to be a nobody, and Allen's great. So I mean, I'm not going to root for a division team to find a quarterback. That's for sure. Yeah, it was a tough. The Bills did get some 3-and-outs early. They did get some stops. They did force some punts. Just knew the Patriots. They gave up 2 touchdowns. An extra, a 2-point conversion and 2 field goals. But you knew, professional team with that coaching staff in that situation. Cam's got a lot of pride, a former MVP. They were going to come out and empty. They were just going to put their season out there today, and that they did that. And I tip my hat to them. They didn't. The Bills didn't get shit given to them. They had to earn it, and I like that, because when you play, you get used to that. These situations are going to become second nature. They're just going to become easier and easier. You've been there, you've done that. It's like with Allen. He threw the pick, didn't bother him, didn't rattle him. He just kept playing all game, no fumbles. So yeah, he. I felt like, fumbles are more irritating than interceptions to me from a standpoint, especially with him. But that was just a miscommunication. That happens. The drop touchdown really pissed me off, though. I'm not gonna lie, it really pissed me off, because I wanted Allen to get a touchdown on his sheet. Didn't get one last week. He should have had 2, in my opinion. Definitely 1. So he did get the rushing touchdown. Yeah, I think the more balanced you are, the better you are, especially in the playoffs. If you can run the ball, establish it, and just the Bills will pass the ball. We know that now. Yeah, that was annoying. Just throw it away. It would have been a third and 4. That was the play right before that weird John Brown play that Jason McCourty broke up. I don't know what the fuck. I couldn't tell you what that was. I had no idea. I think Allen just didn't realize where he was or how close he was to silent, because it was just a razor's thin mark. And the Patriots got credited with a team sack on that. That was so. I think that's dumb, but whatever. I just thought it was. I just like, oh damn it. He'll know that he had a good brain fart there. So Eric says that they traded for A.B. Williams. You gotta believe the Bills are gonna make a move at some point. Either for a big tackle. You got to think maybe somebody gets moved off the roster, create some space. maybe somebody gets put on IR, a back end of the roster guy. I just Edmonds is just a body at this point. He's on my shit list. Dalvin Tomlinson. I mean Tim Settle, Tomlinson, maybe Poe. If they deem that he's, I mean, he was at Dallas and they released him. Just they're going to sign Daryl Worley. So again, they're bringing in Lee and Worley. I assume they're probably both going to be on. I don't know why I think Lee should be on the active roster. They could get Del'Shawn Phillips back this week if you want to put him on special teams, bring Lee up, have him play more instead of Klein. I'm totally fine with that because the offenses that we're going to play against the next weeks are fast. They do a lot of stuff. You got San Francisco, you got Seattle, you got Arizona. They do a lot of fast stuff. What's the story with Lee and Worley? Bad. They're okay. I mean, Worley has a history with McDermott and Carolina. I think he was with them for 1 year. I think he was with them for a year before McDermott came to the Bills to be their head coach. So he's a former first-round pick. He's bounced around a little bit. He was with the Jets for 3 years. Got traded to. He was fast. He ran. I believe he ran a 4.4 at the combine. I'm not sure for a guy who's 230 pounds. That's pretty solid. It's faster than Klein's going to give you. He's 26, so he's still young. He's still got a lot of game left. He ran a 4.47, measured in at 6 3 3/4, 230. So he's got a 35-inch vert, an 11-inch broad. So he's a hell of an athlete. So he's going to give you a lot of lateral stuff. So that would be nice. That'll help. Would you trade for a tight end from Cleveland and Njoku? I don't know, man. I'm comfortable with them trading anything that's like conditional, nothing in the top 3 rounds. If you want to trade a 4th, a 5th, conditional 6th, yeah, I'm fine. But the Bills, they've got a lot of spots. They've got a lot of defensive linemen on the roster that they're eventually, maybe they'll move one. I know they'll kick back a few guys to the practice squad this week. You got Dawson Knox or coming off the COVID list possibly this week. So they're going to have to make some decisions because this is the last time you can really add anybody like this for the rest of the year. I mean, you can get, you can sign guys off waivers, whatever, but it's a weird year with the COVID thing. 17-man practice squad. You got to wait a week before the guy can play. So it's really odd. It's just it's the conditions that everybody's dealing with right now. And this Cowboy Philly game couldn't be any uglier. Couldn't be any uglier. Thanks for everybody coming into the room so late. I'm sorry. I was just a mess like the rest of you. I just needed to breathe because I couldn't deal. I just needed to breathe. Yeah, that's one thing Travsdale put. Our defense is totally different when we can get pressure. And in the last few weeks, we've been bringing a lot more pressure. I don't know what's going to go on with Wilson. You're going to have to pick your poison with him. Hopefully Micah Hyde gets back this week. That'll help. See a lot less of Dean Marlowe. Maybe you get more out of Milano. So you have Wallace came through the game okay. Maybe Norman gets back next week. He could play slot a little bit. Have him match up on Disley or one of the other tight ends, Olsen. Next 5 games are going to be rough. Fast-paced offenses, yeah, but you gotta play with these teams. You gotta play with these teams, and you gotta find a way to win. So we'll see. Does Dawson Knox have a lot of COVID or just a little bit of COVID? Because Trump said he had the diet COVID. I have no clue, man. I couldn't tell you. What's up? How you doing, man? Hadn't seen you I think you were in last week. I just know he's dealing with the calf too. So hopefully that he gets put off the list, because I still want to see this kid do well in a Bills uniform. I know the drops, the one fumble in Miami, but I really hope that this kid, because we've seen him give them some splash plays in the past game. We know the games that he did it, and the Bills need that at tight end. Yeah, our tight end game is we had one catch from Tyler Croft today. One catch. I mean, that's gotta get better than that. And now, yeah, they're in November. November is where you really separate. You really separate the men from the boys. Like, for example, if the Bills go 2-2 in their next four, they'll be 8-4, and that's not bad. Shit, I want them to be 10-2. Are you kidding me? But they're going to be playing some tough teams. But when you get into the playoffs, and you're going to play tough teams. You're not going to play cupcake teams. You're not going to get a team, like the Bills 07 team, not 17 team. They couldn't get a touchdown when they needed it. I mean, they played hard, but Jacksonville, went on a little bit of a run, but that was all the Bills could muster that year. So, but running the ball better, being able to play, in those elements, that it was good to see, because the Patriots are a physical team. They'll always be physical with Bill Belichick. They have big linebackers. They have bigger defensive linemen, but Feliciano really made a big difference today. That guy, it's rare a guy comes back off an injury like that. Offensive line, you don't really, unless it's a perennial Pro Bowler, you think about it as a wow, that's a big get back. Feliciano, yeah, nice getting him back. He really made a difference today. That guy was playing with an edge. He was mauling people out there. He took no penalties. So, man, I give him a game ball. Yeah, I could hear. I know you guys could if you were watching it. I could hear the wind. I could hear the wind out there. I know a lot of the Bills beat guys put up some videos from early in the day when they were getting to the stadium, and man, that wind was nasty out there. Yeah, I mean, Steve, I hope he's not too. I hope having Feliciano back in the line, maybe you get Morse back. Maybe he's out a week, but still. And Darrell Williams has played solid. I mean, he got beat for the strip sack on Allen last week, but he's been solid. So, and the Bills' pass blocking has been pretty damn good. So I'm not going to bitch about their pass blocking. We haven't seen many guys get turned loose on Allen and him get blown up. He took a big hit today, but got right back up, ran a QB sneak, I think a play later, 2 plays later, and got a first down. So he's got that tough makeup, which is definitely what you want to see. I was a little worried there. He took a big hit. I think it was from Cowart, right under the rib. Yeah, it's Feliciano. And again, I like that edge that he brings to the team. Brown, Diggs, a little bit of edge. Diggs is used to playing against Seattle out there. Got Quentin Jefferson, who's used to Seattle, that scheme. He was theirs for a long time. So let's see what happens. Quentin Jefferson did get a sack today, so yeah, let's find out. Let's see if the Bills can make a game of it. Maybe surprise everybody. Joe Smith, why does Jerry Sullivan keep saying Darnold is better than Allen? He used to work for the Buffalo News. He's the most cynical. He's not a Bills fan, actually. He worships Bill Belichick and the Patriots. I don't care what he says. Like, that guy is like, he's probably saying something like, "Oh, give Darnold what Allen has, and he would be just as good." He was on the Josh Rosen train, like a lot of us was. He was wrong about that. We were all wrong. He's a typical, he's your typical journo, media hawk. It's whatever's convenient in the moment. He's not accountable for anything he says 5 minutes ago. So whatever. But I will say this, for most of the Bills guys, they are really cool guys. They're interactive guys. You don't get a lot of that from any other media in the NFL. You get a lot of attitude, a lot of ego. So yeah, I mean, I appreciate a lot of those guys. Travsdale, dang, these next 5 games are crazy. Who made the schedule? Well, they have a tough schedule, man. They have a tough schedule this year. It's going to be, and no fans too. That's what kills. That's what really kills me is no Bills fans. I think the fans would have made a big difference today. I don't think we would have had a lot of. I think the Bills would have been able to get a stop on one of those scoring drives if the fans were in the stadium. Let me just put it that way. Damager, everyone who had COVID got better quick unless you're going to die anyway. Trevor, I think the younger beat writers are really good. Yeah, they're all good guys. Yeah, Pat's media is just, they're propagandized by all the winning. They're horrible. Scott Zolak is a piece of shit. I can't stand that guy. I like Matt. You know, Joe B's okay. Cuomo said he's trying to work on possibly getting some fans in the stand. I mean, you know what I think with the Bills? It's not the Bills fans in the stadium. I think they're worried about the tailgate. I think they're worried about like controlling the parking lot with the tailgate, because you know that Bills fans aren't just they're gonna try to tailgate and then won't allow the tailgate, and then they'll have that, and I think that's the issue. You know, getting like 12,000 people in a 70,000 plus, I don't think that should be an issue whatsoever. Big John Stud. The way they were talking about COVID, you think the player would? Yeah, I think one player in college had some. I think only one player I've seen have adverse effects from it was the running back from Jacksonville. Maybe he's asthmatic or something, but outside of that, over 2,000 plus players, countless coaches. It's like they make the coaches wear the masks on the sidelines, and they'll fine them and all this shit. But you see McDermott in the locker room after the game with no mask, just yelling and screaming. So, I mean, come on. I mean, like, what is this cosmetic bullshit? I don't want to get into this again. Yeah, Trevor, that game is brutal. For the weather, the Bills game was pretty good. There was a good running. There was some good offense. There was some decent pass plays. So for the weather, for what it was a pretty good game. It was a well played game by both teams. And again, there was no Edelman, but still the Bills, they found a way to win, and they coached up their guys, you know, as the Pats did, and they would do. And again, the Bills found a way to win. So no taking nothing away from them there. That whole division is brutal in a pathetic way. Yeah, the NFC East is bad, man. I remember when it was considered the best division in football. Now it's just, there's probably going to be like a 7-8-1 winner, possibly. Maybe the Eagles win 7 games, they lose, 8, and they have 1 tie, and that'll win it. That should win it. The Redskins have been playing hard. They've been playing tough. They beat the crap out of the Cowboys last week. So who knows, man? That's a crazy division. Is Gilmore going to be traded? It's possible. Weird situation. Put his house up for sale. He's got a big contract. He's getting older. You know how the Pats move on from guys sooner rather than later. So maybe they move on from him. I'm just more focused on what the Bills are going to do from a personnel standpoint, what decisions they're going to make. They are getting healthier. They did lose a couple of guys today, but those don't look like long-term things. Knock on wood. Hopefully Morris gets back. But Feliciano, for starting the game off at guard, he thinks he's going to play guard, but then he kicks in at center. He was just as good there. So he's a key piece, and a guy the Bills are going to have to re-sign this offseason. But thanks, guys. I really, really appreciate it. First Bills win against the Pats since 2016. First Bills win against the Pats at home since 2011. The Fitzmagic, Fred Jackson run, kneel down at the end game. We'll see Miami get on a roll the next few games. It's going to be our new rival. Well, that's the way it was when I first became a Bills fan. Miami was right there. It was Marino, Kelly, Brian Cox had just joined the team. Richmond Webb, Bruce Smith. They were just getting out of the Duper and Clayton area. Then they got Irving Fryer, Keith Byers, guys like that. Mark Higgs. Bills just always beat them up in the snow, man. The Bills would get them up in the elements and just beat them. Thurman would have big games against that team. But it was good to see the running game. A little old school Bills win. Kenneth Davis, Thurman Thomas, back and forth. If you guys remember, some of you guys remember, some of you don't. But definitely the older ones do. Before that, it was Tony Kimber. I won't bring up Ronnie Harmon. Yeah. Yeah, he had a well, he was there for so long, and the streak ended. I think it was the Tony Ferguson game. They took the goalpost down. The way the Jets are playing, it could be Allen Lawrence, right? I mean, yeah, man. I don't know if the Jets have a win in them. Does Lawrence go back to school rather than go to the Jets? We'll see. That's going to be a crazy, the move on from him. What's up? Anytime, man. Win or loss, it helps my level. It helps me, man. Helps me a lot. I really, really appreciate that. Yeah, Wentz hasn't been playing well, damage at all. It looks like a different player. I mean, granted, they have a lot of the offensive line is a mess, a lot of injuries. Wide receivers have been a mess. Running back is out, so I don't want to hit on them too much because you need those pieces. We've seen it with Allen. We've seen it with other quarterbacks. I mean, look at how big was Dak to Dallas now. How important was he? I mean, he seemed like he was their everything. He seemed like he was their thing keeping together, even though they had losses, but still, he was their catalyst. Darnold to the 49ers this offseason. Garoppolo gets hurt a lot. It's possible. Maybe to Pittsburgh. I don't see them trading him within the division, though. It's kind of, you rarely see those, but what are they going to get for him? A fourth, fifth, third? That's what you're going to get for him right now, the way he's playing. I feel bad for him, but you know what? That's not the Bills' problem. I'm more worried about us and getting better. So if anything happens this week, I promise I'll come on. Anything during the trade deadline, Worley, Lee, see how they fit in, where they end up, practice squad, active roster, if Knox comes back. So, yeah, guys, have a great one. Bills victory Monday. Enjoy your week. Love you all. Thank you so much for staying up and waiting around and jumping on here with me. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. I know I say it at the end of every video, but I really, really mean it beyond belief. Go Bills, 6-2, and let's have a good game this weekend. Let's see if they can shock some people. I'd like to see that. Thanks, McBursel. Appreciate it. All you guys.